Coda, we've got a full house here this morning. Also, we've got a special co-host guest thing with us today, Alana, on her birthday. Thank you again for coming. Good morning. We appreciate you.
Good morning.
While Doreen's out partying with her family, and she's got like a cooler full of meat that she's cooking all weekend. So that's awesome.
We don't miss you, Doreen. I'm going to stay here forever.
Oh, that's what she was worried about. She's like, you're going to like it so much, she's going to stay there.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Gosh, well, all right, here goes. Well, we've got with us today the Human Service Agency, going to talk about systems of care. We have with us Allie Helly again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We also have Heather Strickerts. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
And you are a clinical director, right?
I am.
Okay, thank you. And then Allie is a systems of care coordinator.
Correct.
Forgot your title. And then we also have Haley Moeller, systems of care coordinator, right?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So what we're talking about, or we can start with, is systems of care and Human Service Agency. I don't know who wants to kind of kick us off, but maybe give us a little background for those that aren't too familiar of the Human Service Agency. What, I know there's a lot of stuff that you guys do. I mean, there's addiction services and psychology and therapy, all sorts of things, but is there a little nutshell you guys could give us maybe?
I'll do the nutshell.
Okay.
So the Human Service Agency is an accredited community mental health center with the state of South Dakota. We are also the community support provider for our area, in which we serve individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. As the community mental health center, we serve a 6-county area, which includes Grant, Roberts, Clark, Dual, Hamlin, Coddington. Did I get them all?
Yep.
I think so.
Sure.
Yep. So I know there's a lot of different ways that you can help people. Depends on, what their needs are, what kind of support they need. So with this systems of care, what kind of program and individuals are you supporting with this?
So with the Systems of Care program, it's set up to help families in need. And we can help families in a variety of different ways, from connecting them with other community supports, providing mentoring for the kiddos. We can also provide some parenting support for parents. And just kind of being there for the family and what they need.
So is the support, is it kind of like therapeutic, like if there's disciplinary things, or like mental health or addiction type services, or?
So with this program, it's more educational than it is therapeutic in providing that supportive piece. But Haley and Allie are definitely able to connect people with the services they may need, whether it be mental health or addictions.
Okay. All right. And so that's so Allie and Haley kind of step in and they work hand in hand with the client, if you will. Would that kind of be the right term? So someone approaches you. What maybe could be like a common issue that I could have that maybe you would assist somebody with? Either one of you two.
I think that sometimes a few of things that we have seen is the court systems, maybe kids getting into diversion or kind of lost in that court system, maybe facing like that out-of-home placement. So we don't really want to essentially see that. So we'll kind of come into the home, identify what the challenges are, and then hopefully find like the interventions or the resources that can, so we don't have to see that out-of-home placement, and we can kind of, teach the parents or guide the parents on like the resources or the education behind that. And then even maybe kiddo needs some, that emotional or educational part, support. The mentorship is a big one. I think that Watertown could really use that part of it, just getting that one-on-one support. So that's kind of like one of the areas. Otherwise, more mild, we're just coming in, helping the families, like, what do you need? What are your challenges? And like, let's see what we can do. So kind of a lot of trial and errors, but just us being there for that support, and then helping them kind of find those informal or those formal supports along with them, so that when they do go off in the world on their own, then they can navigate a little bit better, or at least know where to turn to.
And you got the parents are involved then most of the time in this process while you're working with everybody then.
Yeah, so another unique part is that we do work with the whole family. We do have a kiddo that will identify that family so that we can get them enrolled, and then we might work with that one kiddo a little bit more, but essentially we are able to work with the entire family. So even if there's more kiddos in the house, or if parents need that guidance or support, anybody in the home.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When should someone reach out? What's like the earliest sign that, hey, help might be a really good idea here?
I would say when you feel lost, even if you need just that little bit of guidance. I mean, parenting's hard. Life is not easy. It can give us some curveballs here every once in a while. So I say if you feel like you need that extra support, even if you might just need a little bit of guidance for a month or two, like give us a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what's great is that you're incorporating the parents. Obviously, I think there's so much focus sometimes on, what's happening with the child, of course, and the child is acting out or whatever may be happening in the situation, but it comes from somewhere, so it's got to come from the parents have to be involved regardless. So you've got, a program there that's involving them. Everybody's kind of getting the same message and everything there. So, and Heather, you had mentioned too that there was some other programs too that you direct. Maybe that would be a good way to put it. So, what are some other family and or programs that you help people out with?
So we have a children, youth, and families program. And with that program, that tends to be more therapeutic. So there's a case management component to that for that support for the family. But then also, those are the families maybe who are a little bit higher need, and we need to get them in to a more therapeutic setting.
Mm-hmm. And the training, like what you have to, I mean, this stuff is constantly changing, isn't it? Like with they're finding out new psychological information or counseling, or we should approach it this way. How do you keep up with all of that kind of stuff?
So part of, at least for me, part of my licensure is I have to attend so much training every 2 years. It's 30 hours to remain licensed. And part of those hours have to be in ethics to make sure we're not doing harm to others and we're keeping good boundaries and we're keeping ourselves safe and our clients safe. So we are a little bit lucky in the state of South Dakota does offer some different trainings for us as well. So we've been able to attend things like accelerated resolution therapy training that the state has offered, or internal family systems. And the state usually updates every year with different trainings we can attend. And then there are other things out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what your interest is and what you may want to specialize in as a therapist.
Okay. And so I'm kind of curious, Allie, this is fairly newer to you, right? You kind of just started there not too long ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So with some of your background experiences and transitioning into this and helping others and the support, what's kind of, I guess, called out to you now that you've been doing this, and what are you getting from this position and stuff?
Definitely, I think growing up and being that child that needed the help,
Mhm.
that wasn't always available to me, or I didn't have as many options, especially within the school system. I felt like I kind of got lost somewhere in there. So yeah, I wasn't really set up for success in that way.
Mhm.
So when this opportunity came about, and with it being, hand in hand with my psychology education, it was perfect. Because
Mhm.
I finally could, be someone to help those kids that I needed to have at that time. So
Yeah. And so I don't want to like simplify it, yet it sometimes seems that way, but like do you find when you're helping these families and these individuals, is there a little a sort of commonality where they just need a little support. They need a little extra, I don't know if it's compassion, or they need to slow down, or patience, or whatever that seems to be. But you notice any kind of commonality in some of these issues that families kind of run into?
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I find it easy to empathize with a lot of different people because I mean, we can all kind of see ourselves in everyone. There's definitely parts of everyone that have shared experiences. So, yeah, I mean, if that answers your question.
I know, and I kind of structured it weird
Yeah,
too,
that's okay.
but it's like I don't know. Sometimes I like make a statement in the question
That's
too.
okay. I
But
do the same thing.
it's,
When you're helping out with these families, what's the biggest barrier that you seem to run into that hinders them from being successful? Is there a lot of stubbornness? Is there a lot of, well, this is the way that I was raised, so this is the way that I'm going to raise my children type of mentality?
From my experience so far, everyone's been extremely open
Good.
to receiving help,
Good.
which is awesome.
Yes.
But really, I think people don't realize they already have the knowledge and tools to reach their goals. I think more or less it's that support piece where someone just, having someone to walk with you or to go with you. Because I mean, life is so overwhelming
Yes.
that even just simple phone calls or, doing things alone just doesn't really feel possible in the
Yeah.
moment. So, yeah.
So, Heather, why don't we talk a little bit about what I'm curious what drives you to be to handle so many various programs, because I think it's probably it could be exhausting to even help in one specific kind of program, let alone multiple.
Yes, I get overwhelmed and overstimulated at times. I think the biggest thing, I choose to do what I do because I want to help people. And so being able to supervise and teach other therapists and people just starting in the field, I can reach more people in that way.
Mhm.
And that's very meaningful for me. And I still get to work with some individuals and families, so I like that part of it too. So I get to be the educator and the supervisor and the mentor, but then I also still get to work with families. So I feel like in a sense, I have a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. And so maybe with this these programs, you are too in a position where it's potentially an early stage of, maybe trying to negate any further issues.
Yes. So definitely with this program, the way it's designed is we want to step in and provide families with the help early on before things get too out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like the community that we're in here, are you seeing a lot of support from for the program and people, stepping up for that?
Yes. So far, we've talked to a number of different community entities. We work really close with the school. We work really close with the diversion program. Those are probably our two biggest referral sources. But then I also know Allie and Haley have gone out in the community and met with, some of our partners. And that's been very helpful. And letting them know, like, we're here, we want to help. Let us know what we can do.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, Haley, maybe you could touch on what's something that you have come across that's been, I like that, what's been kind of rewarding for you since you've come across this program.
A huge thing with this program is that it's really strength based. And I think that helps the families the most. When I first meet with a family, they struggle with telling me, good things about them, or maybe something that is good that happened today, because the bad outweighs the good all the time. But I would say, after every meeting, I try to leave with a strength base, like just knowing like, okay, yeah, this week was tough, but hey, you made it to school on time, or you didn't run into law enforcement, so that's a plus. Or you put your you tied your shoes, just the little things. And then as the family continues to go into the program, they start identifying those strengths themselves. So then when they do come across challenges, it might not be as of a challenging day to them because they'll have like that strength base behind them. So I would say that's like a big thing that I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
and a really touching thing, just because I do recognize even kids are writing their own support plans or telling me like, no, this triggers me because of, X, Y, and Z, and I want to get through it. And then they will do that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty good to see.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you brought that up. Like the baby steps, if you will, celebrating, the smaller moments too. I have felt that that's maybe one of the things people don't understand about mental illness is that, if you're not unhealthy at this time, like it seems, everything's quote unquote normal, if you will, in a normal state. And you don't think about those, grabbing your keys and your shoes and putting, doing your hair this way or whatever. But when you're unhealthy for whatever reason, it's so much more difficult to, like you said, for a kid, it's tying a shoe or it's brushing their teeth or it's whatever that we think is normal. And then you immediately go, what the heck is wrong with you? Even if it's not a kid, it's, someone older. I mean, I've had people make fun of me for being weird or whatever it is because I'm so awkward, but it's like, well, I don't know how to communicate like you because I'm a little goofy. So sorry, I'm not normal. But so I appreciate how, like more people need to recognize that it's those small intricacies that are telling you something. It's like, oh, okay, that's abnormal to you, but there's a reason for it. So, are those things that you observe when you're kind of talking to people? You're kind of checking boxes, like watching for things like that too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will point things out to them too if I notice, just so that they realize like you're still there. I mean, it's a tough day, but we can get through it. It's fine. I think a big thing is telling them too, also in the beginning, like it's going to be a lot of trial and errors. However, you're going to probably face challenges, but you're not going to do it alone. I'm going to be here. You can text me, you can call me. We'll walk through it, and then we'll kind of navigate from there and see how we can help to at least just get them through that day.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Did you have something you wanted to throw in
I
there?
was going to just add a couple of things. Number one, Steve, embrace your weird.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say
For
that
sure.
to everybody. Embrace your weird. It's what makes you who you are and what makes you unique. And it's the part that's going to draw people to you.
Mhm.
The other thing is normal is only a setting on a washing machine.
Yep.
Like it's not everybody's baseline is different and that's their baseline. The third thing is I try to instill in families, we focus on progress, not perfection.
Mhm.
Because I'm not going to wave my magic wand. I don't have one. And I don't want parents to get in the mindset that I'm going to see their child and they're going to go home and be perfect. That's not the case. We need to look at those small steps and celebrate the heck out of those small steps.
Mm-hmm. You also have a mindset where, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, but like where you don't necessarily approach these programs or therapy or whatever, even that you're fixing something. It's that we're trying to learn and evolve and grow, if you will. But it's not like, all right, we got to get in here so we can get this fixed and get back to normal.
Nobody's
No.
broken.
Yeah.
Nobody's broken
No,
here.
you may be
Yeah.
a little bit bent and we may have to work on that a little bit, but you're not broken.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel, that's a little bit of an aura out there too, is like, oh man, there's something wrong with me. I'm always causing trouble or acting out or I'm told this and that. And so I got to go to therapy and get fixed.
I think you bring up an interesting point with the acting out and there's something wrong with you because you're acting out. I think looking at the acting out is you're trying to communicate something. We just don't know what it is at this point. So let's come in and talk about it and figure that out and find a better way to communicate what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And like, So I've been researching a lot about emotional intelligence, which
Yes.
is probably something you guys talk about a lot, I would imagine. And that might be one of my, I don't really like this term, but character flaws. I think they use that in like AA a lot, but it's all I can remember. But or defects. That's what they use. Yeah, character defects. But so anyways, like, you know, you don't always instinctively know what you're saying or how you're saying it, and then sometimes afterwards you're like, oh man, I didn't mean to be so frustrated and say it like that, but what I really meant is, I miss you and I don't like what you were doing or whatever, or something like that, right? So like could you talk a little to emotional intelligence and like how, like, people, we're not just born with the ability to communicate the right way.
Right. A lot of that is role modeled to us and passed down from generation to generation. You know, if you have a parent who's not very emotionally in touch with themselves and doesn't communicate emotions, you're not necessarily going to learn how to do that if it's not role modeled for you. And so I know a lot of times when I have families come in, some of the first things we start talking about is identifying emotions. Let's figure out what you're feeling and let's learn how to put a label to that feeling. So we call that name it to tame it. So if you can figure out what that feeling is and we can put a name to that, then we can tame that down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I've kind of learned over the years through any therapy, it's kind of, once you acknowledge, you know, whatever the label is of what you're dealing with, then you find these different tools, if it's even a trigger or whatever, the things that can bring that on, and you learn how to maybe avoid it, or maybe when something comes up, you can work through it.
Yes. So once you can kind of identify what your triggers are, you can certainly avoid it, but you can't avoid everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing you can do is you can learn how to cope ahead. So if you know you're going to have to go into that situation, what am I going to do beforehand to mentally prepare myself to go into that situation so that I'm okay and I can communicate how I'm feeling during that situation without things spinning out of control, crashing out.
Yep.
Yeah. So these programs, are they mainly for families, or just you can do individuals too, or?
We see all colored sizes, shapes, ages, so a little bit of everything. You can people can certainly come in individually and be seen. We see couples, we see families. So it just kind of depends on who we need to have in the room. So when we're talking about children, I very much believe there needs to be a family component to that because, again, I spend a limited amount of time with the child in my office. But if I don't have family there backing up what we're talking about and also learning we need to make these changes so we can all function together, then it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Did you have some more questions?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very passionate about this. If
Okay.
only you guys could like jump into my brain. I'm very sympathetic and empathetic of your mission. Coming from a childhood of having parents with addiction and depression, and then having family members with mental illnesses. All of what you're saying makes sense. I was lucky enough to have the resources to help us give us the tools that we needed to get better. But it's a generation thing. If you don't nip it in the butt, learn the tools, it's only going to keep being a cycle that repeats itself over and over again. So it sounds like to me you guys are a one-stop shop for anything.
A little
anything mental health related. And no, I think it's amazing. How does somebody reach out to you, and what are the costs affiliated with getting help?
So with the Systems of Care program, there isn't a cost to the families on that. That's something that is provided. With our Children, Youth, and Families program, that is also something that is provided.
Mhm.
We do have some outpatient funding, so we're able to provide services to adults as well who maybe don't have insurance or have a high deductible or something of that nature. we really try our best to make it so finances are not a barrier to getting the help that
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah, because that's often the biggest barrier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And if people ever have questions about the financial aspect, call.
Mhm.
Call, ask the questions, because we want to help you and we want to make sure that you're able to get in and afford the help. So, and I think sometimes people are just afraid to ask the questions about finances. So just think in their head, well, I can't afford that.
Right.
So I'm not even gonna
Yep.
try.
And then they're stuck.
Yes.
They're stuck.
Yes.
Money is probably one of the biggest like problems that cause issues anyway. So
Yes.
I mean, that's, you probably have to talk about it anyways.
yes.
For sure.
Wow.
If you could make sure that every person listening today remembered one thing about your agency, what would it be?
I would want to say the one thing I would want them to remember about the Human Service Agency is we are here to help you, and we have some very passionate clinicians who work with a variety of people and they do what they do because they want to help people.
Perfect.
Is that good? You're good?
Yeah, I think
That was
I'm
good.
Yeah.
Good work. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Is there anything that people in the community can do to help support your mission? Volunteer, donate, spread the word? What kind of things?
I think the biggest thing is to spread the word, and the other part is if you see someone who's struggling, give them our number, 605-886-0123.
There you
Give them
go.
our number. Encourage them to reach out.
Very good.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you guys want to throw out before we wrap up?
I think she pretty much covered it, but I just wanted to really emphasize do not be afraid to ask for help
Mm-hmm.
in any
Agreed.
shape or form. Yeah,
Agreed.
help is okay.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably one of the biggest barriers is people actually asking for help. I mean, we have you got stigma, and then you've got the Midwest. I'm a big bad man. You got some chauvinistic stuff out there, probably. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff going against us as men and women in this area, anyways. So, and then throw a little bit of social pressure on there too for cherry on top. So, I can't appreciate enough what you guys are trying to do out there for everybody, especially for the youngsters. It starts at the roots, really,
Yes.
and so I know that can be difficult, and I'm sure you guys go home with some tough days. So just know that I appreciate everything that you're doing. 'Cause
For sure.
it's tough.
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. We got to let people know that there is help out there. And, I think there's a lot of people that are struggling and all they do is maybe go to the internet and ask Google what's going on. But
Try to
there's,
figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
That's not always the best route.
there's
And
real
I do
people
wanna
out there.
Just quick add that you qualify ages 0 to 21, so you don't necessarily need to have a child enrolled into a certain program or in a school district, even if it's just maybe a newer parent that needs help with her little ones at home because she's overwhelmed or he's overwhelmed. Or if you have somebody that's 18, 19, 20, 21, they need a little bit of the extra support getting out into the world, they would qualify too. So just to make that clear.
But you do work with
The whole
people
family, yeah.
of
Yeah.
other ages as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because one person who comes to mind right now is a very close friend of mine, and she was recently diagnosed with autism. But she's been functioning her whole adult life not knowing that she had it. So now she's like in this weird
Learning.
place where she's like,
Yes.
I'm trying to find the tools and the resources and how do I cope with this before entering a room. And I was just thinking about you guys. Should I recommend her to you?
You certainly could.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing with adults learning
Mhm.
what their mental illness may or may not be. And
That's
And
why
then-
when you said what's normal is not normal anymore, especially with the knowledge that we have today. There's a lot of people out here walking around with different things that make them not normal,
Mhm.
but they are still normal. They
Yeah.
are, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a interesting emotion when you come to terms with what your disorder may be,
Mhm.
and then you start to realize what that's caused over the past, and
Yep.
that little guilt slash apologetic
Mhm.
Yeah.
feeling kind of comes over. So I suppose you probably talk about that a lot too, because people have that kind of, oh man, look what I've done.
Well, and
Now what?
and it's interesting that you talk about that, because I think the important thing is let's not get stuck in the past and
Right.
what happened previously. Let's focus on what we can do in the present moment to make it better,
Mhm.
and learning the skills, so as we move forward, things go better.
Yeah.
Mhm. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect way to end, I think. So, well, if you guys want more information, go to humanserviceagency.org. There's probably everything that you need right on there. But walk into, they'll help you out. I know there's a window there and they'll take care of you. You can call them. There's still landlines out there. You can't forget 886-0123. So,
Yep.
but I appreciate Allie, Heather, Haley, right? Okay. Thank you guys for coming in
Yep.
and what you do for the community. It's a thankless job. So
Yeah.
thank you much.
We
Thank
love
you.
our
Thank
community,
you.
so we love you guys.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming in, and we'll get back to some music. And I think we got some hockey folks coming in here pretty soon. So that will do it here for Northeast Radio SD.
Love seeing an idea turned into a finished product? South 40 Specialties in
headset is-
Watertown is adding production and print shop team members. Enjoy full